Hello, welcome back to Vlogmas. It is day 13 today, and it actually is day 13 today. It's the 13th of December. Vlogmas day 11 and 12 are currently exporting as we speak, so you will get my training days at MEC today. You will also get this video today, and then we will be up to date again with Vlogmas and no longer any days behind. We'll see how long that lasts. I honestly wasn't expecting some of the technical issues I had. I'm now on a laptop rather than on a desktop, and the laptop takes an age to export these videos, so I've been like editing them at night and then exporting them and then posting them in the morning when they finally exported, so it just takes time. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, and thank you for your patience. But yes, I really hope you enjoy watching the training vlogs from Dortmund. We travelled today to RIAC, so through to Luxembourg, and we've got competitions tomorrow, which is Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and then we travel home on Sunday. We're gonna try and get to the Christmas markets at some point, and I'll take you around those because the Luxembourg Christmas market is very lovely. And yeah, I guess hopefully I'll be able to get some footage of my matches and stuff. If not, I can try and get somebody to film some of the finals that hopefully I'll be in. You've got that to look forward to. And then next week is the last week before Christmas, and we've got Christmas shopping to do, Christmas wrapping to do. I've still got 2 or 3 days worth of training next week. I mean, I've always got loads of stuff to do, like admin and stuff, so there's that too. But yes, busy times, but we're getting there, we're getting there. Some of you guys very kindly sent me some messages or left comments and stuff with questions for me to answer, so I was going to do a Q&A on this episode. I didn't put it out on the Instagram. I would have got a lot more questions, but it was just supposed to be for this nice little YouTube community. Say thanks for being here. So Ali was asking what favourite presents I've received have been. Also wondering what you get the sportsman who has everything and what's on my wish list. So, favourite presents I've received. My parents quite regularly buy me Lego, which I am a huge fan of. The Lego Harry Potter set a few years ago with the Hogwarts, the big one, that was an awesome present. I'm trying to remember, I've had an awful lot of awesome presents from my parents. They're very awesome people. What gets the sportsman who has everything? Healthy food's always a good option. Relaxation time, or something to do when they have relaxation time. Personally, I love going to the spa, so spa vouchers are a good option for like a massage or something for a sports person. I don't know, find out what their favourite protein powder is and buy them more of that. I don't know, stuff like that, I guess. Stuff that they use often that you can never have too much of. Ali also asked if I'd ever tried biathlon when I used to live with Holly. I've never tried biathlon, I've never been on the skis or anything, which in hindsight is a bit of an oversight on our part. We did talk about it, but we just never got round to it. There's always a massive risk of injury, so we just avoided it most of the time. I did try shoot with her gun once though on a biathlon range, and it was very hard without the suits that we wear, and it's quite a different sport. Like, they're trying to hit 5 targets as fast as they can, and they're just trying to hit the target. Like, I'm obviously trying to hit a full stop in the middle of the target, but not even just hit the full stop. I'm trying to like center the shot over the full stop, and I'm like static and I've got this suit on, so it was very difficult, and the gun is so much lighter. I was trying to aim the shot, and Holly kept telling me to try not aim the shot and just take it, and it was very difficult. I found it very hard. The dead leg in kneeling looks particularly uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable, and yes, it does happen a lot. Over the years, I've had periods of time where my leg's been absolutely fine in kneeling, and other periods of time where it's been really, really dead, other times when it's very sore. It really just depends on the position. Some people get it, some people don't. Some people get it sometimes and other times not. I think it just depends on your physiology and your position, unfortunately, but at the moment, yes, I get quite a dead leg and it is very uncomfortable. I had another question about what distances I shoot. So I shoot 10-metre air rifle, both mixed and individual. I shoot 50-metre 3 positions rifle and prone if the competition's available. And then I also shoot 300-metre, both prone and the 3P. I have in the past shot full bore. When I was at school, I used to shoot full bore which is in yards, and that's 300, 500, 600 yards, 900 yards and 1,000 yards. So that's the longest I've ever shot is 1,000 yards. Arthur was wondering where it is I train. So I train in the Pleasance, which is Edinburgh Uni's performance sport complex. It's, I think, an old whiskey factory or something. The range that you see in my videos with the domed roof, that's like just one of the rooms in the building. It has been a range since the 50s, I believe. It used to be a whiskey tunnel, where they used to store the casks with the whiskey. But yes, it's been a range for the last, 70 years? So yes, that's been there for a long time. No, it's not cold. All the heating vents for the building run through the range. I'm told it's not as hot as it used to be, because we've got ventilation now, and the vent like on the back of my head is a bit chilly. Some days it's colder than others. I think partly depends on the temperature outside. But no, it's not cold really. I used to shoot in a place called Meadowbank that's also in Edinburgh, before they like knocked it down and built a new one. That place was cold. It was like a freezer. I had a hat on regularly in the winter. It was very, very cold and very unpleasant. Yeah, certainly when it's that cold, like, layer up as much as you can. Obviously you can't do much under a suit because then your suit doesn't fit properly, but you can wear a hat. I have heated socks that I wear if I have to shoot outdoors in the winter. I have heated socks that have got little battery packs that go on the side, and they keep my feet warm. Woolly socks, thermal socks, stuff like that's really important. If you can get thermal underlayers. If you don't already shoot in thermal underlayers, a lot of them are, because they're like biathlon underlayers or like whatever. But yes, thermal underlayers do help. I've shot on the Isle of Man at the Easter shoot before, in March, April time when it was snowing. I had a duvet on top of me at that point, but also make sure you shoot on a mat because otherwise your tummy will get cold and it's not very good for you. I've seen people shoot in sleeping bags before. Make sure you have hand warmers. You can have a second hat next to you with the hand warmers in it, and when your trigger finger starts to go numb, stick your hand in the hat. It will warm your hands back up. Shooting with trick contact gloves on, I didn't find them particularly useful because my hands still got cold. Full fingered gloves can help with that, but again, like, I didn't like them because they got in the way. But yeah, it's all the extra things. Having a hot flask of, doesn't have to be tea, it can just be warm water or it could be warm juice or something to sip at, will keep your core warmer rather than having like cold water. Stuff like that. So there's lots of options, but I agree, if you start shivering, that's usually a time to call it and just go home. It's not worth your health. I have a question about internal position and how I set up my position. It's a very difficult one to answer, I think, because it's so personal to each individual person. For me, I try and stack all the bones. So my left leg I try to have quite straight, and then this arm it goes straight on the hip and then comes up quite straight. So this whole line is straight down the front. This leg, I used to shoot when I first started with my toes turned in, and over the years they've gone straight, and more recently this one's turned out quite a lot because I've got a problem with my hip. And the hip constantly wants to turn forwards, so I've ended up turning this foot further and further out, and because it stops that hip coming forwards. So that's like an outer position symptom from an inner position feeling. I tend to have my core kind of weak. I don't use too much muscle tension in the core muscles. I use a bit because I try to have my pelvis tucked. If you think of it like a bucket, your pelvis, you can tip it forward like you're pouring the water out of the bucket, or you can tip it up like you're trying to stop it spilling out. For me, if I tip that bucket up before I shunt my hips forward, that protects my lower back, my spine, from dumping into that lower spine is what they call it, and like hurting your lower back. So I tend to try and tuck that pelvis under a bit before I stick my hips forward, and that helps with that. But that requires like a little bit of core strength. So I do use a little bit there. You really just have to like find out what muscle tension you need in certain places, and what stuff has to be relaxed. So for me, I have to have this bicep on this arm relaxed, otherwise I start pushing shots high, or flicking them low, because I know that the arm's tense, but I get a vertical grip if this arm's not relaxed. Likewise, I get a horizontal grip if this shoulder's not relaxed, because then I'm steering with this, rather than just letting it sit where it wants to. But yes, it's really, really personal. I think every shooter is probably different in their approach to inner position. Yeah, I hope that helps. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful. I have a question from Rob as well, who was interested in how I separate my shooting life from my home life, and whether I do any like dry firing stuff at home. I have in the past done dry firing at home, like during COVID for example, I did quite a lot of dry firing at home in the first few months. I have done stuff like that. My rifles aren't stored in my house, they're stored at the Pleasance with Edinburgh Uni's stuff, just because one, it's more secure, and two, I move around a lot, so I don't have access to my stuff all the time anyway. But I do quite like, especially now as I've gotten older and gone through my career, prefer to separate sort of, I'm going to call it work life because sport is my job and shooting is my job. I really much want to separate that aspect from my home life. So these days I tend not to do dry firing or stuff in my house. I do a bit of mental work in my house, but I tend to see the mental work as a sort of holistic Shona thing rather than a sport thing. So it's it has both bits of life, I suppose. But yes, I do quite like to kind of close down shooting brain when I leave the range and go home and recuperate, regenerate. I think it's healthier that way. I'm sure not everybody does that, and I know an awful lot of, like, even my boyfriend works from home as well. I know a lot of people are working from home now after COVID and things like that, so it does become more difficult. But yes, like I'm in that lucky position that I can separate the two, so I do. That's all the questions I had, although I do have one that I get asked regularly when I'm out and about that I thought I would answer here for everybody, which may sound silly, but it's how to pronounce my name. You guys will have seen how it's spelled. A lot of the time I get Sinead, because it's similar to an Irish spelling of the Irish name Sinead, but Sinead is spelled S-I-N-E-A-D, and there's no O in Sinead. And I get Sinead quite a lot, and then a bunch of other random variations. But how you actually pronounce my name is Shona. Now in English, you would spell that S-H-O-N-A, but my name is a Gaelic spelling of the name. So in Gaelic, which is, by the way, a Scottish language, from the sort of northwest, I think, of Scotland, my name would be pronounced in Gaelic as Shonach. But my parents knew a few Shonas spelt my way when they were young. They liked the name, so that's why I have it, and that's why it's that spelling. So it is Shona. And the Macintosh bit is, as I've just said, Macintosh, like the computer. I know it doesn't have an A in it, which confuses a lot of people, and I get Macintosh quite a lot. That's not a name, by the way. So my last name is Macintosh, so altogether it's Shona Macintosh. Really easy. So I hope that helps if any of you are confused. I actually found a video the other day that was how to pronounce Shona Macintosh, and it's very close, but it's not quite. So I hope this helps. But yes, thank you so much if you sent me in a question. Really appreciate the support and the help and the curiosity. I'm always a fan of that. So I hope I answered your questions, and as always, if you ever have more, you can pop them down in the comments, and I'll either answer them in the comments or I'll save them and answer them in another video. But yes, thank you so much. I really hope you're enjoying the vlogs, and thank you so much for watching. Oh, one of the other things I was going to share with you was my sort of away from home gym program that I do in hotel rooms. I'd probably show you that tomorrow because I've got time in the morning to do it. It's reasonably late now, and I don't like exercising too close to bedtime because it keeps me awake. But yeah, I'll hopefully show you that tomorrow or one of the other days. Just depends what the schedule's like. That's pretty much everything. I was saying thank you for watching, so thank you again for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, you can subscribe, press the button. And if you enjoy any of the videos, if you give it a thumbs up, that'd be really awesome. If you think you've got friends or family who'd be interested, you can share the videos, that'd be cool too. If you're looking for like shooting tips and tricks and stuff, there's an awful lot of videos Heinz Rinkemeyer posts. I'll link his YouTube down below and you can go and have a look at that. There's quite a lot of videos of me, not self-plugging, I get nothing from it, there's no commission or anything, but they're good videos. He's obviously an excellent coach, and obviously very good at the videos and the books and everything, so if you're really interested, he's obviously got an awful lot of good resources and stuff. But yes, thank you for watching.